A Place Called Alive was produced by the Baptist Healing Trust 15 years ago and is now owned by Erie Chapman Foundation. We offer this anniversary presentation as thanks to our community charity for nearly a half-century of radical loving care and to keep alive alive. The gift of life that we receive is portrayed in this famous painting of the Sistine Chapel as God reaches down to hand the gift of life to Adam. This tree will await life in the spring. Meanwhile, it will have to live through a long winter. We enter this world crying and screaming. But how long will our journey last? And how will it end? Maybe you played that game as a child. The one that went, how would you like to die? Hanging, drowning, falling off a bridge? Never really good choices there. Because the persistent worry really isn't death itself. The big questions are, will it be painful? Will my loved ones be nearby? None of us wants to die alone. None of us wants to die in pain. In America, up until recently, none of us had a good choice. Chances were we would die in a hospital hooked up to machinery, perhaps accompanied by nurses more interested in raising their eyes toward patients who might make it, rather than those leaning down to be near us in our final hours. Who wants to die hooked up to machines, a tube inserted down our throats? And in a hospital, there's always the risk of being treated like Emma Thompson's character in the movie Wit.
Dr. Barry?
Dr. Kalikian.
Professor Baring, how are you feeling today?
Fine.
Great, just great. Very late detection, stage just 4 upon admission. Hexamethylphosphosol with vinplatin to potentiate. Primary site is here, behind the left ovary. Metastases are suspected in the peritoneal cavity, mainly in this area here. Full lymphatic involvement.
Is this what any of us want at the end of our days, or is there a better choice?
In 1974, in New Haven, Connecticut, patients got a new choice called hospice. The idea was to free patients from pain and to surround them with love. In 1975, this lovely notion came to Nashville through Alive Hospice. Through this organization, you will now meet 7 people as they live their last days on this earth.
This is not a sad place. Alive Hospice is a place of peace and joy, and I think people realize that after they get here.
I really don't believe anybody should die alone or in pain or uncomfortable.
This place is nothing but love here.
While they're going to die, they are still living, and what we can do for them is to make the quality of this last part of their living as good as it can be.
Well, I think being alive is wonderful.
Among the hopeful images at hospice is the butterfly.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Chanel. Happy birthday to you.
Osteosarcoma. She was in a severe pain crisis when she first got here. We've got that under control with the pain pump, and it's just she's also developed some numbness in her extremities, her legs, which means the tumor is putting pressure on her spinal cord.
13. Whoa! First time. You're officially a teenager.
She understands that she's dying, and she has a journal, and so she journals, and then we're able to read her words and discuss it with her, and different issues that are coming up. And it's been a great way to talk to her about things.
Congratulations. That's right. Chocolate cake. Yeah. Oh, that's sweet. Very good.
Although Alive Hospice has a residence, most work is done in the place where we want to spend our own last days, in the home. Lisa Graham is a veteran home care nurse.
I probably have about 10 right now. I don't see them all every day. That's a little bit of a low caseload for me. We carry anywhere from maybe 10 to 14 usually. I have 4 that I've seen almost every day this week. Just needed to keep revisiting them till we get their symptoms under control. I usually see them once a week, and as needed. It's just really rare that I've seen this many people this many days each this week. We're headed over to Miss Valerie Fuller. She's a 34-year-old patient with just metastatic cancer of unknown origin. They don't know where it started, but it's pretty much in a lot of places now. All in her abdomen, her lungs. Very sad case. I do pretty good with hospice until they get near the age of one of my children, then I get a little upset. It's harder to deal with. She's had a whole lot of pain issues we've been working on, and just kind of titrating up on her pain medicine and getting her adjusted, and it looked like she was really taking a turn for the worst a couple of days ago, and I had the family prepared that we may be just looking at a few days left, and then I went back yesterday and she looked a lot better, so it's kind of good days and bad days. So hopefully we're going to see her having a good day today.
Top quality hospice care calls for top quality attention.
It's my first day when I went back to work. That's my sister Linda, my baby sister that's here, my youngest sister that's taken care of me since the very beginning. This is the youngest.
Mrs. Holland is a very pleasant 56, I believe, year old, diagnosed with colon cancer. Stopped her chemotherapy treatment in December because her cancer was progressing.
My youngest sister and I are single, and so we said we were going to grow old together, and this is what we had planned to do, retire and grow old together. So I came back and we were going to buy a home together and stay, and I got sick.
She initially came here to our inpatient unit because there's nobody who could live with her and care for her 24 hours a day, and she was really weak because of the cancer and because of the surgery and really needed a lot of help.
I got busy dying. I didn't decide to live until November of last year.
Honestly, I think she's got a few months, maybe 6 months.
Will I be here when Christmas comes?
Since she's been here, she's actually improved quite a bit. Has gotten her strength back, is up, walking around, talking,
Thank you. I'm gonna miss you.
Doing great.
This place, there's nothing but love here, from the person that sweeps to the person that you meet in the hall that work in the offices. Just the support that they give you and the encouragement and the taking care of you. It's almost like you're the only patient here and you know you're not.
She's actually going to leave our facility and go home. She actually has a new apartment she's going to go into, and she's leaving tomorrow.
Going over to the Tribeca Towers, and I'm still here, so I still got life to go on with.
Absolutely.
So that's what I'm trying to do right now. Yeah. That's what I'm bent on doing.
She really has a desire to live and doesn't want to give up.
I'm excited about starting anew, but I'm going to be missing a place because they spoil me. They spoil me rotten.
When people enter our facility, they tell us that they feel calm. They feel that a burden has been lifted because they know they're in a place where their loved one will receive the kind of care that they need, and that creates hope. Oh, my. Bennett, I'm sorry. Who is here for you?
My mother-in-law, she just died this
Oh,
morning.
Bennett, I am so
When they brought her,
sorry.
and she was in really bad condition, and I really thought that she might live for 6 more years when she got here. The kids were here, everybody was here. It was just perfect because this morning she had her breakfast and she had her bath, and she could let it go. So it was wonderful. It was everything that you promised it would be. Everything.
Bless you, bless you, bless you.
Everything you promised.
Thank you for the privilege.
She's in stage AIDS. She keeps to herself, very quiet, doesn't really associate with a whole lot of people. She usually stays in her room. She's in the final stages.
That I was HIV positive. I was angry at the person that gave it to me. And then I had to tell my mama and my daddy, and I sat down and cried. And then they cried with me. I'm not worried about myself. I always worry about everybody else. And if it's my time to go, then it's my time to go. The Lord that wants me, He's going to take me.
2 weeks later, the Lord took Christy Bowen from this earth.
So often I hear, oh, well, if I accept hospice, I'm giving up. And that's not the truth. The sooner hospice can come into your life, the sooner you can develop relationships, and they can prevent a lot of things from happening. So many times I've seen just late referrals. They wait to the last minute where you could have done so much more if you could have gotten in touch with that family sooner.
The worst one ever has to feel is the day before their hospice admission.
The wall over here is almost entirely, well, it's all black and white.
Dying means saying goodbye to things we love as well as people we love.
The two on top at the corners are etchings by a man named Luciani.
Dr. Wells is a 70-plus-year-old man with metastatic prostate cancer. When I first met him, I guess about 6 weeks ago, he was very depressed because his pain was so poorly controlled.
I was diagnosed back in March of '05, almost by chance, because I had nothing that would suggest that I had prostate cancer. Really, I think within the first week or two that I knew that I had the cancer and that it had spread so widely in my bones that at some point we would turn to hospice. And the question was, is this the right time or should we put it off a little longer? And that Monday morning, I guess, I woke up and I said, I'm sure not getting any better. I'm not making any progress. So let's call hospice. And we called on Monday. The admissions nurse came by on Tuesday. Sarah arrived on Wednesday. Both my wife and I fell in love with Sarah. She explores what I'm thinking and how I'm doing now in both the physical and the spiritual sense.
When I have a family, I feel a obligation to the whole family. I mean, I can't just care for Dr. Wells. And so I look at Ann every time I come and make sure that she's not tired and make sure that, you know, she's getting her rest.
Ann says is in her life, hospice has given her a whole new conception of nursing and individual care versus what doctors in general offer. But they're treating disease and not really treating me.
Number one, of course, I want to provide symptom control. I want to make sure that Dr. Wells is not having pain, not having bouts of depression, and not being immobilized by his illness at this point because it doesn't seem time.
I remember I went to their home and made a home visit and met with them together.
To describe Brandon would be hard. It's kind of hard to describe. He's a character at times, and then at other times he can just be bossy and demanding.
He was precious, and I'd really come to meet with his sister. We were going to work on kind of her feelings about his illness. He ended up wanting to do it with us. I can remember some things that he mentioned about, kind of himself and not being able to go outside and play like the other kids.
He's, if you talk to him, it's like talking to an 80-year-old man in an 8-year-old body.
So the hospice staff, in their unique and eloquent way, enter into a vulnerable time in people's lives and embrace them and surround them with a loving presence. And that's both a combination of their skills and their competencies with their loving heart. And they help to ease the burden.
We did get a hold of his son-in-law.
Top quality staff members give constant attention to every aspect of care. They attend to the family as well as to the patient. They encounter all kinds of challenges.
So somebody in the family knows, and then there's a leak in the house, so their kitchen ceiling's going to be falling down on them.
I got a call Saturday night wanting me to call the daughter because she's upset. The brother's the caregiver, and she's upset, thinks he's giving the patient too much medicine. And she's on a Durgesic 25 MSIR for breakthrough 15. And she's comfortable.
Your goal is to have a comfortable, pain-free patient who has the ability to enjoy life every day that they have left.
They feel very relaxed when they know that when the patient starts dying, that they can call us even before they've died, and that we will attend to them.
And they're not going to like the way the will is written. He knows that his plan is to leave as soon as the funeral is over.
Once they've died, we come in and just kind of handle things. We call the funeral home. We bathe them, get them ready for transport, and that kind of takes a little bit off of their mind.
She's concerned about his depression. She thinks he's getting more depressed. And he's been on Prozac 20 for a long time.
And he's on Ativan 1 milligram 3 times a day.
I see my job as trying to make that transition as peaceful and as easy as it can be.
The one thing that we do as chaplains is walk the walk where they are, not make them be where we want them to be. Part of that is just kind of sitting with the person, helping them feel comfortable with us and letting me know where they are in the journey.
Well, let's bow our heads for just a moment. Father, all of these concerns that we have this afternoon, we know that nothing is out of your control, even though it's out of ours. Remember each one of these families that we've laid out before you. They need your special blessing. Thank you again.
If I think about what's most meaningful, it's being able to shine a light into the darkness. It's being able to offer hope.
Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, let me stand.
Hey. All right. It's a different kind of visit today, huh? She's just precious. She's just precious. I've had her for quite a while. Just such a strong backbone.
Well, I don't feel too hot right now. I had a 6 feel this morning. Could not get out of bed, but I'm doing better. It's passing away.
No matter how much she's hurting, she's always smiling, always pleasant.
He's nice to me. Everybody has been nice.
She's so alert, and she's just so grateful for any care that we give her, and she's just a pleasure. She's someone you really enjoy spending a lot of time with.
Go to bed with a prayer, get up with one. If I live to see the 10th of August of this year, I'll be 90 years old. I love singing. I am weak, I am worn, through the storm, through the
from 90 years old to Brandon, an 8-year-old twin.
Brandon has neuroblastoma, which is a type of a brain tumor, and he also has liver involvement and some multi-system involvement.
You feeling all right now, sweetheart? What's wrong?
He's probably been on steroid for a long time, and then along with the chemo, it can cause bloating.
He spent a year at Vanderbilt Children's Hospital. We were in and out of there for a year when he was going through chemotherapy and his transplant. And he was cancer-free for about a year. In January of this year, the cancer came back. This has been some kind of experience for me. I mean, it's really caring people around here. Basically, it's never been a time that we needed them, that they haven't been here. Most of the time, you don't even have to call and they're here. You know, they're just here supporting you in every way possible.
When I knew that there was a child coming, and I was pretty distressed because I've lost a child. He died when he was 4.5 months from SIDS. And so it was different from this in that I didn't go through this period of grief prior to the death. I just woke up and he was gone. But I think that it's helped me to process my own loss to some degree, and I think it has made me, my loss has made me a better caregiver of a child and of a mother of the child. It's profound, really. They're not supposed to go before us. It never leaves you. The loss of a child never leaves you.
Good leaders take care of staff.
I think the most important thing that I can do is take care of the people.
Happy birthday to you.
I know we say that all the time, but honestly, it's that's what keeps me awake at night when I am awake at night, is trying to see how I can better provide the atmosphere where the people can be better cared for.
Even though we care for the dying, it feels so alive working here, and I think that's very hopeful.
How about you? How can I help you, or how are you doing? That's got to be very, very tough, Ginger.
It has been, and we had a child after that who was the size that my child was when I lost him, and I took care of him some of the time that he was here, and then found myself unable to do it. I think that he was the same size child and a boy child that made it so personal to me.
Right.
And I would like to process through that the next time we have a child. I don't want to pull away from kids because of that pain, but I don't know what the next step should be for me with regard to dealing with that, other than just to rely on my coworkers for support and just keep facing the pain, the memories.
Please know if there's anything you think of that you think we can do, Alive Hospice or me personally, please let me know, Ginger.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the care you do. Oh, okay.
Each of our lives has its own energy, and at moments we seek serenity. In this place, this bamboo forest in the Japanese garden here at Cheekwood, people come to find rest, quiet, peace, and relaxation, and moments of reflection in their lives.
I trust that you will be met by a welcoming presence that knows you, that meets you with a deeper love than you have ever imagined in this world. May you know without any doubt the precious gift that you are, and may you be welcomed by a presence so loving that all fear subsides.
And good leaders understand the need for fun to balance hard work. Like staff dressing up, not only for Halloween, but to conduct a full-fledged sumo wrestling competition involving vice presidents, nurses, financial staff, anyone willing to put on a funny costume and help the staff find lighthearted times. The staff understands that Jan Jones, president of Alive Hospice, knows the importance of humor. They decide to test that out with her by making pictures of her looking as silly as possible. It's all to bring the hopefulness that is the gift of laughter. Terminal illness can come not only to the young, but to the beautiful. Lisa is on her way to visit Valerie, a lovely 34-year-old woman who is now facing her last days, as Lisa seeks to deal with her distraught mother.
My uncles and her Valerie's friends that she works with and my relatives are making her think she's dying. And I've got to surround her by people that can pretend there's a great tomorrow on this earth, nowhere else but here. We're going to have fun tomorrow, because she can't live through these days feeling that bad. Of course we believe, and we're going to get her better and try new things, but we've got to get her stronger and eating and everything working good. So you tell her whatever you have to from a nurse side. I'm going to shield her from relatives and friends.
Oh, she loves her relatives and friends.
But I'm going to let only the cheerful ones around.
Well, let's see what she says. See how she's doing this morning. Good morning, Valerie. You get a good night's sleep last night? Not really. Uncomfortable? Feel like you need your liquid breakthrough medicine? Is your back hurting?
Yeah. As far as that pain.
Right here, where it usually is?
Yeah.
Coming all the way around?
Yeah. That's where I was hurting so bad last night.
It's what?
Where I was hurting so bad.
Okay.
Last night.
She's. A lot of people say, I don't know how you can do this, and I guess not everybody can do it, but I think it's just that, just knowing that they're going to a better place. And we see just almost, I don't know, we get little signs sometimes, signs and wonders that show us there really is life after we leave these bodies. And I think sometimes hospice workers we're allowed to see more of those signs and wonders so that we know beyond the shadow of a doubt this is not the end. We're just here, we're their friend here, and we're going to be their friend. One of the worst things about it is seeing young people like Valerie have to be sick and pass away at such an early age. Do you feel short of breath?
Mm-hmm.
You do? You want your oxygen back on?
Yeah.
Okay. You used to walk 3 or 4 miles a day. You were in very good physical shape, weren't you?
In the evening, the pain gets worse, I think, because the pain gets worse.
Can you think of anything else I can help you with, or anything bothering you that you want to talk about or anything? Or you just want me to leave you alone and let you get a nap? I always say to my patients, I want to be there when you need me, but I don't want to wear out my welcome. And I believe I'm about to wear out my welcome right here. We're going to run on, I think, Valerie, and I'll probably be back later on. I'm going to sneak a hug. Bye-bye. See you later. You all call if you need me before you see me again.
And now my soul is poured out within me. Days of affliction have taken hold of me. The night racks my bones, and the pain that gnaws me takes no rest. Volunteers can bring hope to the dying, especially when they come in the form of 5-year-old triplets. These 3 angels carry moments of happiness.
Here's this bear. I hope you like it. That's what I think. Well, maybe if I brought a bear, like one of these, maybe. Listen up, all of you bears. You be nice, please. And please hug the children and grown-ups. And thank you for kissing them. And have a good time. Bye. Hope this makes you feel better.
Oh, this is so. I now feel all these things.
Hope you feel better. Ms. Holland still wonders if she'll see Christmas.
Try to get some bills paid and get the rent paid and get things done. It's the first of the month. Try to see what I got and still have to go on with life, you know. Nobody comes in and does it for you, so you have to do it for yourself. It's a regular day's life that you continue on with. You just can't stop life because you're sick, you know. I'm making myself a list. I've been fighting lists all my life. My head was my list. I was a good nurse. My head was my list, and when I needed to write something down, I wrote something down, you know, but now I really have to write. And part of going through this disease process and part that Alive helps you with is saying, we are always here. If you need anything, no matter how simple or quiet it may seem.
Go ahead.
Hello?
Hello, my friend.
Hey.
Oh.
Hey.
How you doing? Good. Look at this place.
Good.
Wow, you're getting this
better.
place in shape.
Yeah, I'm trying.
She spent day and night awake painting and fixing up her apartment. She's had a ball, but I do see little changes coming on. Just a decline in her mental status. She's not necessarily taking her medications like she's supposed to. And I'm really concerned as to how long she'll be able to stay like this. I just want to keep a close eye on her.
She's my nurse because we're kindred spirits, being nurses, and because I think she's a good nurse and she doesn't miss a thing, even when I try to get her to miss something.
It's great.
No matter if it's right or wrong, she listens to you. Position is it's in my back, and that's how I judge it, in the back part of my pain right here to over here. As my liver. She's a good nurse.
It's just worrisome when a person's out here on their own and not real stable because, you know, it's just not a good situation. We're going to have all the team members involved in visiting her daily, pretty much, just to make sure she's okay.
I worry about her when he dies. I worry about her a lot.
Well, it's hard about seeing him getting sick because I don't really want him to be sick so he can come back to school and do whatever he can do in his class. They've been asking about my brother a lot. He's coming back very soon, but the doctors don't know when he's coming back. To
to me in a sense that she said that the doctor says he's going to come back and go to school. That's not really realistic, but in a child's mind, they're not able to go past that at this point. I think she thinks he still will get better, and I know often at that age, you know, death is not totally final. They still think that person's going to come back at some point, even after they pass away.
I feel happy at school, but sometimes when I go back home, I think about Brendan. That's when I get sad because he's sick and he can't come to school like I'm doing right now.
Hospice chaplains offer a special presence to the dying.
I love to hear people's stories. I hear you had a tough night last night, but I'm so glad that you seem to be comfortable now. I wonder if you're seeing angels. Maybe you're seeing people who went on before you, people you've missed. Or maybe you're just floating in that wonderful light. And you feel warm and safe and full of joy. God bless you. And peace be with you.
Dr. Wells is down to his final weeks.
I think giving up has been very hard. I've not had the fearful anxiety, depression that I would have thought I would have had in the face of the diagnosis and the obvious end. It's certainly brought us as a marriage and as a family into much closer contact. I have two sons, both of whom live away, a daughter who lives here. We have 3 grandchildren, 2 boys and a girl. They call me Papa, and they throw their arms around me. It makes me feel good, of course. Although we've had very strong support from family, friends, everybody. 2 years ago, we see the same people, for the most part, and no one would have thought, as we were walking out the door, of hugging and saying, "I love you." And now that's just almost routine. Your life will never be the same again. And that's certainly been true. Been pretty much at peace with my life and with the world. I think I feel some sadness, of course. There are a lot of things I'd like to do before I die that I won't do. Oh, I think being alive is wonderful. And would delight in thinking that I might be spared for another year or two. Who knows?
I can say trivially, you know, I grieve my losses, I dance my joys. In reality, there is a part of me that is always grieving. And about every 3 or 4 years, I think it's time to do something else. And then I meet that patient that, okay, I'll just work through this patient. And, you know, then I'm kind of back on my feet again. But this is what I was called to do.
And there are other special volunteers.
Winston and I have been coming now for about 10 months, and we absolutely love it. He's the reason I do it. He makes it easy for me to go into someone's room that I don't have a clue who they are. He kind of opens the door, as it were. And we love it. He looks so forward to Saturdays. That's when we come to Live Hospice. And as soon as I grab that vest, he knows exactly what we're getting ready to do. An animal loves you no matter what. An animal pays attention to you no matter what. They don't look at anybody differently. Everyone is the same. They give love just sometimes with their eyes. And it's just a wonderful feeling for me to know that maybe I've made some kind of a difference in somebody's life. Make them smile just a little bit.
She's got the option to take that medicine anytime she's hurting that gets her out of pain, and I don't know what the problem is, why she doesn't do it or her mother doesn't give it to her. She wants her to be awake. She's very reluctant to give her the pain medicine. Clearly the pain medicine helps her. They have the option to do it every 3 hours. They waited 9 hours. And then she got in pain crisis and called on call. So I don't know. She's going to be much better off on a pain pump so that it's not up to them to give it. It's just going to be delivered continuously. And she'll be able to stay comfortable that way. She's very end stage. She's it'll be hard to say. I mean, I don't think she's got a month left to live. Probably a lot less. Probably a couple weeks, 2 or 3 weeks probably. She's young and strong, but she is so sick. Her mother sure is upset, isn't she? Hopefully she'll be able to come to some kind of a term where she can accept it, and she just doesn't have any hope beyond this. She just cannot see any hope, and that's sad. Very few times do I see that. I'm so glad, because it's really, really hard. I'm praying for this mother, and I cry with her, but I just hope and pray that she'll find that faith and hope that she's going to see her daughter again. Maybe God will give her enough time to find some answers so she can tuck this away in a place she can live with. We just get to be such good friends with them because it's a sacred time in their lives, and it's just an honor that they allow us to come into their homes and share at this time. It's just a very personal, intimate, sacred time, and it's an honor to be able to go in there and serve them and get to know them now. And you always just fall in love with everybody. We just become part of the family, really. It's good. It's a good job.
The touch of life that came to Brannon just 8 years ago now begins to release its hold. Hospice can relieve some of the physical and some of the emotional pain, but sometimes only a mother's love can help ease the pain of sadness.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay, sweetheart. It's okay. It's all right. It's okay. I know you try real hard to stay happy, and you know what? You do a great job at it too, bud. You do a lot better job at it than I do. You keep me happy.
I know, but it's sometimes too hard.
I know.
Sometimes it's very hard. Hard for mother and sister and family as they wrap their love around a precious child whose life cannot be saved. After great pain, a formal feeling comes. The nerves sit ceremonious like tombs. The stiff heart questions, was it he that bore in yesterday or centuries before? This is the hour of lead. Remembered if outlived, as freezing persons recollect the snow. First chill, then stupor, then the letting go.
He looked up at her within hours of his death and he said, "This isn't good." And she just struggled with that. You know, you could tell it just reverberated within her. She had a lot of physical expression of her grief. I mean, just pounding on me, and there was just a lot of that kind of holding her body and trying to contain her grief. But she was finally able to lay down with them and talk and cry and let him go.
Letting go. Our dying is finally a letting go, something that happens in soft white sheets, beds that hold us until we leave them for the last time. Ample make this bed with awe. In it wait till judgment break, excellent and fair. Be its mattress straight, be its pillow round. Let no sunrise yellow noise interrupt this ground. The 7 people you have met, Ms. Morrow, Dr. Wells, Ms. Holland, Christy Bowen, Chanel and Valerie and Brannon, have all spent their final days in beds tended by hospice caregivers. Each of them has left this earth. The caregivers remain, the caregivers who devote their lives to one purpose, surrounding patients, families, and each other with the most precious thing there is, loving care. Love, the center of what turns out to be one of the best hospices in America. A place where patients and staff surround each other with radical loving care. A place called Alive.
People tell us we're angels and how special we are to do this work, and we think, oh no, what better thing than to get to spend the afternoon doing this, getting to sit with people, love on them, and be loved by them.
I dream about them at night. I always dream about them. And I think that's my way of cleansing myself. And they say, well, how could you find joy in death? But it brings me joy when I see that they have a peaceful passing. So that's how I deal with it. I like everything about working at hospice. It's rewarding. It gives me a different sense of meaning in my life.
Please don't let me die in pain.
It's the only job I've been called an angel. So, and I think all of us are called angels here. So. There's hardly anything that we can't make a difference with and make things much, much better.
I try to leave my notebook in the car at the end of the day and come into the house and think about other things, like my 10-year-old and my chihuahua and church and playing my guitar and things like that. I try not to bring it home with me, but it's hard not to. You gotta say a few prayers for them at night when we go to bed,
Hospice, it just causes me to love my job. So I can actually say I love being a nurse.